Okay, we are live, and by we, I mean me. Um, Hello, good morning. Welcome to TNT Joe-Fi, tech news that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. If you can't tell, I am super tired. Super tired. Hold on, let me just make sure the stream is running. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I didn't get much sleep last night. I slept late, and I think I got like 4-ish hours of sleep, so bear with me. I'm trying to wake up. I got a little bit of caffeine in me, so hopefully that'll help. But okay, so I think we're live. Yes, we're live. Definitely live. Uh let's see. Comments. Oh, yo, Will. What's up, man? Morning. How's it going? How you doing? To everyone else, welcome to the stream. Um, we are gonna go over tech news today that I haven't read about yet. I think none of them at all. I was up late last night, just trying to do my thing, and I got a bunch of news stories, but I really don't. Oh, I'm spreading the link around. Thank you, Will. Actually, shit, I forgot to post this on Twitter. You know what? Let me do that really quick. So as I sit here and talk to you guys and post this on Twitter, um, I am. Let me tell you guys what else has been going on. Um, Work, lots of work stuff. Uh, I know that I have my news org that I work with, and I've been pretty busy with that. But I'm trying to keep up with tech news, or at least trying to. So um, there's just been a lot going on. BG Tech Life, hey, yo, bro, what's going on? Good morning. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Just bear with me here. I'm trying to put this out on Twitter because I forgot to do that this morning because I got into the studio a little bit late. And I was kind of trying to rush. So just bear with me here. Let's see. What do I say for Twitter? Yo, good morning. Let's talk tech because that's an easy way to do it. Okay, so that's out on Twitter. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's start this. I got a bunch of news today, like I always do. I always have a good amount of stuff to go over, but I don't. Again, I haven't read most of these stories yet. Let's start here at the beginning. And the first thing, oh, Brian. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Sneaking into the chat. Morning, everyone. Morning, Brian. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Don't get in trouble. Don't know if you're working or not, but don't get in trouble. But thank you for making it to the stream. So the first thing I want to talk about today is this story from Android Central that asks, is 128 gigs enough storage for flagship phones in 2020? And this isn't so much of an article as it is a question. And really the answer to this is it depends. I think there are people who think 128 gigs is enough for a flagship phone. And then I think there are a lot of people who say, no, that's not enough. 256 gigs should be the standard. And here's my thing, right? I have an iPhone 11 Pro that I use as my daily, and I was fine with 64 gigs of storage for a long time. I was fine with it. A lot of that had to do with just the cloud and keeping my photos and videos there. But I've realized that lately I've been running out of storage a lot. And that's because I take a lot of video with my iPhone 11 Pro. And I feel like a lot of people today are taking a lot more video than they did maybe in the last year or two, or obviously before that. Probably a lot more today, just because everybody has a smartphone. Everybody's using their camera for multimedia. So I didn't get a chance to read any of this new stuff. So we're going to go through this now. So it says here, Samsung may have just launched the Galaxy S20 series this past Friday. Was it just that? Yeah, it was. It seems like it's been longer because this is the only thing that you're finding like we talked about this on Sunday at the Standard with Mike, is that the S20 has just been like inundated with news. Like it's completely oversaturated. And I guess in a way, rightfully so, because it's new tech. And I don't know if there's anything else really. I mean, there's always other new stuff, tech stuff going on, but S20 is the big thing. But let's continue. But that hasn't stopped people from already talking about the Galaxy Note 20. We aren't expecting it until at least August, but the rumor mill has slowly started to ramp up, which actually, I talked about this, I think, last week with the Galaxy Note 20. Is the Galaxy Note 20 going to be bigger than the Galaxy S20 Ultra? These are some big effing phones. I was not going to swear today because all my stuff keeps getting demonetized, but these are some pretty big fucking phones. I don't really care. That's me trying and then me realizing that saying effing sounds stupid. Right now, one of the biggest talking points for the Note 20 is that it will supposedly come with just 128 gigs of internal storage. Compared to last year's Note 10 that had a minimum of 256 gigs, it's quite the downgrade. That is quite the downgrade. Unless they're going to be downgrading the price, which you guys know they probably won't, to go from 256 and then to 128 doesn't make a lot of sense. With that rumor circulating, it got some of our Android Central. Is this Android Central? It's Android Central. Forum members debating whether or not 128 gigs is enough space for a 2020 flagship Android phone. This is one rumor I already don't like. I'm just going to read through the comments because why not? I wonder if there's a huge number of people who don't use a lot of storage and rely on external storage. I do agree they should use 256 as the base. What did a Note 10 start at? Was that over $1,000? I don't know. I don't recall. But if you're paying, here I go, because I paid $1,000 for an 11 Pro, and that only came with 64 gigs. And now that I think about it, when you're paying $1,000 for a phone, I at this point, yes, that should at least be 128 gigs of storage. But here's a Note 10 that started with 256 and now it's going down to 128. I don't know. It kind of sucks to see it skimp down. Agreed. If the S20 Ultra base model was 256 gigs, I would have settled with that. 128 gigs is too low for phones starting in excess of $1,000. I just said that. Thank you for this forum to kind of mirror what I'm saying here. 256 should be the base storage for the Note series. One reason I was put off with the S20 Ultra in India is after paying around $1,300, and I'm assuming US, right? I was getting only 128 gigs base. Damn. I didn't really think about that. Yeah, you're paying $1,400 or whatever. 128 gigs of storage and no option for a 256 gig version. Very happy with my Note 10 Plus, waiting for Note 20 or maybe Note 21. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I used to be okay with 64 gigs, but at this point, 128 seems like it should be the minimum now. If you're paying $1,000, 256, I mean, I'm not going to complain about double the storage, right? If you're going to give me 256, I will gladly take it. So anyway, that's how I feel. Let me go through the chat here real quick. Six morning 6. Hey, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. George, morning. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream as well. Kit, you're up early, man. Good morning. How's it going? Glad you could make it. I'm glad you're able to make the stream. Appreciate it. Will's the first today. Yes, you are. You beat 6 out here. Let's see here. With 4K recording, 128 of stuff. And here's the thing is I don't even record in 4K, right? I record in 1080p and I'm still having trouble, but yeah. And I only have 64 gigs, so it's even worse. And George says even tougher with 8K. Are you recording 8K right now, George, with your S20? Damn, 8K. That's crazy. Let's see here. Well, the Ultra is bigger than the Note, so why not? George says, thank you for not swearing. It's appreciated. And then I ended up swearing. I'm sorry, George. I'm so sorry. I use the Google Cloud for for the most part. Sorry, George. BG Tech Life Note 10 Plus was $1,099 for 256 gigs, which was great. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't agree with such high prices, but man, you're gonna be paying 4 digits for a phone. Give us the storage. So that's how I feel. All right, let's move on here because I got a bunch of stories. Really quick, BG Tech Life. I had to buy the iPhone 11 Pro Max with 256 gigs because 64 gigs on my 10s XS Max sucked. How much is an iPhone 11 Pro Max? I with 256. I don't even. Let me look because I don't know that off the top of my head. 1250. Am I looking at that right? No, that's for just the Pro. The iPhone 11 Pro. Someone probably already said it in the chat, but I'm not looking right now. Hold on here. I'm just curious. iPhone 11 Pro Max. 256. Why am I not getting this price here? 12. Oh, it is 1249. And then the 512 version is 1449. Damn. I don't know. Expensive. George says here, I just did a little 8K on my initial S20 camera sample video. I look forward to seeing that. 8K, that's crazy. That's all I've done so far. 1250. Yep. Baldons, hey, welcome to the stream, man. Good morning. 64 gigs is nothing. Yeah, I'm kind of realizing that now. I'm still using my S8 Plus, and I had to put a 64 gig micro SD card. I don't blame you, right? Yeah, running out of space. I'm running out of space. I hate when I have to take my phone and I have to start deleting stuff just to make room. So that's what I've been doing on my iPhone 11 Pro. If there's one thing I could take back with this phone is that I would get the bigger internal storage version, but then I'd be paying well over $1,000, and that's a lot of money, which is a great segue because my next article is about Apple. Oh, this isn't really, I thought it was about iOS 14, but this is about the Apple Watch. And this is from The Verge. Will Apple Watch sleep tracking in Watch OS 7 Sherlock third-party apps, plus settling in with the new coronavirus reality? This is also something that I'm sure we're going to be talking about throughout this stream because it's in the news everywhere and it's affecting everything. So it is what it is. Let's start. So, although we have no idea if Apple plans on holding a spring hardware event or even its annual summer WWDC developers conference, we're starting to have a clearer idea of what's coming than we did a couple weeks ago. That's because 9to5Mac has been posting a series of stories based on information gleaned from the next version of iOS. If I remember correctly, I don't think they're going to be holding an event. You know, there were rumors about them holding an event at the end of March, and I don't know if that's happening anymore. Don't know if that has to do with the coronavirus or if they're just not holding an event at all, if they never intended to. But I don't know. I don't think any of us know unless they send something official. Weirdly enough, a lot of yesterday's leaks from iOS weren't so much about iOS itself as they were about accessories for the iPhone. For example, the Apple Watch may soon be able to detect oxygen levels, track sleep, and let users share watch faces. Oh, that's kind of cool. Here's the thing is I have my Apple Watch. This is an older one though, a Series 3 that I bought recently because it was only $200. Well, I got the bigger version, the 42 millimeter at $229, and I love it. It's actually been really useful for me. The one thing I would love is a sleep tracking, sleep function thing, but I also have trouble sleeping with a watch. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, and it's nice to take my watch off at the end of the night. I wish there was a different way they could do that, but I mean, I don't know until someone figures that out. If you're able to swap it with a wristband, or I don't know. Hopefully, with official support, Apple will automate some of the stuff I have to do manually every night, like putting it into theater mode. An alert warning that battery life is low an hour or two before bedtime would also be smart, and has been rumored. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. It's like, don't tell me when to sleep. I'll sleep when I want to sleep. Heck, as long as I'm wishing, it sure would be keen if Apple offered the same level of API access to third-party sleep apps like Sleep Plus Plus. Have you guys tried this? I've never even tried a sleep app yet. I mean, I just got the watch, so I haven't used it. That it gives to its own apps. And a Pony too, which is and a Pony too, which is probably more likely than Apple opening up its API to help apps. It is Sherlocking compete on an even playing field. Speaking of Apple accessories with special access to iOS features, we should soon be seeing a new version of Apple Powerbeats Bluetooth headphones. And we got our first look. I don't think I have an article on that right now. At the rumored Apple branded over-ear headphones in the form of the icons that will appear in iOS. I am not the biggest fan of over-the-ear headphones. I was gonna say, I don't like the earbuds that you have to like put a hook on your ear. I know that it's a lot more secure, especially if you're running, but it's not for me. I'm intrigued by the possibility of Apple releasing black headphones for the first time in forever. All of Apple, I mean, we don't know if any of this is going to be true yet. So, it has to be seen. My mic is dropping really low. Give me a second, guys. I'll continue reading while I try to adjust this. All of Apple's and Beats Bluetooth current headphones are quite good, but that doesn't mean they don't get a leg up on the competition thanks to their tight integration with iOS. I'm sympathetic to the argument that it's Apple's platform, so it can do whatever it wants with it, but only to a point. Finally, of special interest to me are the small extra details we got about trackpad support on the iPad. I think this is something I'm going to talk about later. I'm not going to go into this whole thing. So I'm curious because, again, I didn't read this, so I want to see what they're talking about with the coronavirus. We passed a point where tech companies' responses to the coronavirus are quite as notable as they once were. Up to now, big tech seemed to be somewhat more aggressive in its response than various local, state, and national governments. Now calls for people to work from home are commonplace. All of Italy is locked down. Yeah, do you guys hear about that? They quarantined everybody in like Italy. And you don't need me to tell you that the stock market lost its shit yesterday. I don't really care about the stock market. I don't have stocks. And a lot of that is for rich people anyway. Speaking of shit, I'm just as baffled as everybody else that people are apparently hoarding toilet paper. Yeah, did you guys see that one video in Australia where like two dudes are fighting? I think they're fighting over toilet paper. Crazy. Let's be good people. Apologies for the unsolicited and seemingly tangential advice. But here goes. Get over whatever squeamishness you might have about it and buy a bidet toilet seat. I feel like this guy is this. I was like, this guy's just trying to sell bidets. This whole article is just about him selling bidets. They're cheap, easy to install, and get you way cleaner. I'm also not going to argue with that. The bonus is that whatever TP you already have will suddenly last 4 times longer. Here is some of our coverage from the past few days led by, yeah, this was a lot more than just sleep tracking in Watch OS 7, which would be great to see. Hopefully, I don't think they're going to add sleep tracking. Would they add that to the Series 3 watch? Would that be a thing? Would my battery last the entire? I don't know. Okay. That's it for that. Let me go. Well, wait, I have another Apple thing here. Yeah, I wanted to put these two together. So before I go into the comments, Apple Watch Series 6 and Watch OS 7 to include Infograph Pro with a tachometer, school time, and kids mode sleep. Okay, so let's kind of just go through this. 9to5 Mac. Oh, this is from 9to5 Mac. Exclusively reported over the weekend that Apple Watch will gain the ability to detect blood oxygen saturation, a critical vital for maintaining heart and brain health, which is actually really interesting. I'd love to see how this works and love to see how this would be integrated into the Apple Watch. I don't know. I've been on a big health kick lately. So seeing these things would be kind of really beneficial for me. Something that I look forward to when I wear my Apple Watch is to see how everyone's doing in their activities. So this is me talking to people who I'm friends with on Apple Watch. I just know I'm watching, like I'm being that creeper and I'm seeing how many steps you're taking and what workouts you're doing. So, but I do find the Apple Watch really good when it comes to like competitiveness because I'm on it a lot. I work out 5 or 6 times a week. And I might not close my rings every day, but it's something that it makes me want to do it more. Like I'm more inclined to work out more because of my Apple Watch, which is a good thing. Like it's a good thing. Anyway, based on leaked iOS 14 code obtained by 9 to 5 Mac, we can share many more details, including new watch faces, which is I look forward to that. Sleep tracking and parental control features in development for later this fall. You can't have a new watchOS version without watch face updates, and watchOS 7 has at least 3 changes in that department. I don't know if they said when watchOS 7 would be coming out. Apple's developing a new feature for sharing watch faces between users, a feature that's long been on my wish list, and each watch face is treated like a unique file. Based on an early version of iOS 14 code, users will be able to share specific watch face configurations with others using the share sheet from the Watch app on iOS. It's not clear if watch faces will be shareable directly between watches. Okay, so we'll just wait until that comes because I'm not going to go through all of that. Infograph Pro watchOS 6 includes 2 versions of the Infograph watch face introduced in 2018 with the Apple Watch Series 4 Infograph and Infograph Modular. watchOS, I haven't even used that yet. watchOS 7 will introduce a new version called Infograph Pro. The key characteristic will be a new element to Apple Watch faces, a tachometer. A what? A tachometer is an analog watch scale located around the dial that is used to measure speed and distance based on travel time. What is this? To use a tachometer-equipped watch for measuring speed, the chronograph is started at a starting marker of a known distance. Okay, hold on here. The new tachometer element continues a watch face design approach of borrowing features from the analog watch world. That's kind of cool. The typical tachometer scale on a watch converts between the number of seconds it takes for an event to happen and the number of times that event will occur in 1 hour. Interesting. I still don't really know exactly what it's about. Apple Watch lets users create personal digital watch faces using images from the Photos app. Okay, so it's a little more customizable, which is cool. Apple Watch for kids does stuff for kids. Not really my thing here. So, cool. Okay, let me go through the comments real quick here. So, might as well buy an external hard drive for your phone. I guess so. BG Tech Life, everybody hit that like button. Yeah, guys. Again, thank you for joining the stream. BG Tech Life, thanks for giving some props here. If you guys do, if you can, please like and share and subscribe and all that typical YouTube stuff that people talk about. It does help my channel, even though you guys might not think so or you guys forget about it. Even just liking the video helps me out. So again, appreciate you guys coming. Appreciate you guys supporting me where you can. iChorus, hey, welcome to the stream, man. How's it going? Wait, iChorus, is this I have a 6T with 128 and it seems difficult to make it past about 50 gigs. Then again, I don't record a lot of video and I know that's where storage piles up. Yeah, I just I guess I just find myself, I do record a lot of video. So that's usually where a lot of my space gets filled up. iChorus, is this I exude sarcasm on Instagram? I think that's you, right? Anyway, what's up, man? If I'm right, I think you were just in Chicago, right? Anyway, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Will is like the biggest Apple fanboy at this point. I swear to you guys. And even George agrees. Will drinking his apple juice. What a surprise. It's always struck me as odd that Apple Watches didn't have native sleep tracking. Yeah, I thought so too. I don't know if it's a battery issue or what. Maybe they just haven't perfected it yet. I don't know. Yeah, actually just said here, nope, battery wouldn't last. George says, I don't use sleep tracking apps at all, mainly because my sleep habits almost never change. I usually sleep 6 hours a night and have no need to track since I'm so consistent. I wish I was that way. If there's one thing that I could be better about with my health, it would be to sleep better, because I don't sleep really at consistent times. And I'm one of those guys where it's like, it's no big deal, but like sleep is pretty important. Sean says the stock market's been terrible and I like it. I just, yeah, I don't know, man. Like the stock market, whether it does well or it doesn't really affect me. Um, People can say it can affect the economy, but hey man, what about people who are struggling and are in poverty and whatever? Like they don't care about the stock market. They just care if they can get like health insurance, you know. I'm not gonna get into that. Honestly another subject. But let's move on. Let's move on. Again from The Verge. So this is a little out of tech, but it says here scientists will soon be able to monitor air pollution hourly from space. Again, I found this interesting, so I wanted to go over it. I still haven't read it, so let's do that. NASA, South Korea, and the European Space Agency are working together on a, quote, virtual constellation of space-based instruments to document global air quality in unprecedented detail. For the first time, scientists will be able to track pollution from space on an hourly basis, which I think is pretty cool. I'd actually be interested to see where air pollution would be the best and where air pollution would be the worst. Where it would be the worst, I guess, isn't that wouldn't be that surprising to me. I'd assume like on the West Coast, right, by LA in China. I think those are usually the big places with bad air quality. But anyway, it would be interesting. The first instrument to launch was South Korea's Geostationary Environment Monitoring Spectrometer, GEMS, on February 18th, which flew into space mounted on a Korean satellite also tasked with ocean surface monitoring. NASA plans to send a nearly identical instrument to space aboard a commercial communication satellite in 2022, it said in a briefing today. They'll be followed by the European Space Agency's two instruments that will join its existing air quality monitoring satellites, with the first taking off in 2023. Let me just kind of move past here. GEMS will monitor aerosols and smog over Asia. Its data will be available by next year. NASA's interested in following pollution from oil and gas fields, ships and drilling platforms, and rush hour traffic in North America. Yeah, this is really interesting. I would love to see where, we're awful when it comes to pollution and where the biggest contributors are. The European Space Agency is working to improve the accuracy of its daily air quality forecasts and will I'm guessing that's hone in on Europe and North Africa. Beyond these aims, the data collected can increase our understanding of a wide range of air quality issues that affect human health, scientists collaborating on the project said. Interesting. Let's hear it. Sergio, hey, welcome to the chat, man. How's it going? More than likely, iPhone may be postponed, picked up an iPhone 8 instead. Oh, wow. How much did you get the iPhone 8 for? It's been a while since I've used one, and I'm trying to remember how good it was. But you know how iPhones are. They're pretty consistent and they work pretty well. So can't complain. Brian with the $2 super chat. Brian, hey man, thanks again for always helping out. Thank you for supporting. And you didn't even put anything in the super chat. So thank you. Thanks, man. Again, guys, thank you for making it to the chat. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for people in the super chat kind of going an extra mile here and supporting me more in other ways. So I appreciate that. Again, Brian, thanks so much for the $2 super chat. Means a lot to me. So let's move on. God, why did I put another Apple article right next to each other? Oh, that's why. Yes, this is something I actually wanted to go through. And it's also relevant to coronavirus stuff. So this article from Engadget, and I saw a bunch of other tech publications post this. Apple says it's safe to clean your iPhone with disinfectant wipes. Just don't submerge it in any cleaning agents. Apple has updated its website to let iPhone, iPad, and Mac owners know it's okay to clean their devices with disinfectant wipes. Do you guys do this? Do you guys wipe your phones down this way? I don't. I usually use a cloth, and if I do use a disinfectant wipe, like I won't use a Clorox wipe. I'll use like a wet wipe, and I won't do it on the glass. I'll usually do it on the back. And then with the glass, I just use I have a cleaning cloth. I have a bunch of them, and I always put them in the wash. Like I switch them out almost every day. So it's kind of what I do to wipe my phone down. I also don't use a case, so I don't have stuff that gets like stuck in the case and it's not all gross and weird. But I understand why people use a case. I mean, you want to protect your phone. I take that risk of dropping my phone, which I have many times lately, especially. Anyway, using a 70% isopropyl alcohol wipe or Clorox disinfecting wipes, you may gently wipe the hard, non-porous surfaces of your Apple product, such as the display, keyboard, or other exterior surfaces, the company says. Don't use bleach. Avoid getting moisture in any opening, and don't submerge your Apple product in any cleaning agents. Don't use on fabric or leather surfaces. Apple previously advised against using anything other than water to clean its products because some substances can wear down the oleophobic coating. I remember reading this before, and that's why I typically didn't use like a Clorox wipe to wipe the display down. The company applies to keep its touchscreen devices looking their best. Health and safety take priority in this case. That said, there are a couple things you can do to take care of both yourself and your device. Your best bet is to use isopropyl alcohol. If you guys don't know, and actually someone on my news org talked about this, that isopropyl alcohol you can buy in a big quantity and it's really cheap. Apply a small amount to a soft microfiber cloth and then wipe down your device. That's actually what I should start doing. Just use a little bit of that. If you don't own a microfiber cloth, and this is what I use, I carry one with me all the time. I say that and it's right here. It's right here. I was going to pull it out of my pocket. They're not expensive to buy. In a pinch, an old but clean t-shirt will also do the trick. Anyway, the reason I want to talk about that is, so this Apple saying it's safe to clean your iPhone with disinfectant wipes. And then this article by TechCrunch said, wait, you all haven't been wiping down your smartphones this whole time. And I think they just kind of go in here. I haven't read it, but I'm assuming they're just, shaming you and saying you're disgusting and you're filthy and why haven't you been doing it? But obviously this is being brought up because of the coronavirus. A small consolation in the growing COVID-19, I'm just going to kind of go through this real quick, is that some of our moderate germophobia has begun to feel like a minor superpower. As I got settled for a cross-country flight last week, I took out my hand wipes and did a whole number on the screen, tray table, and armrests. You know what? I flew to San Diego last week, and I had someone on my flight who had a mask on, who sat next to me and wiped everything down. And I was like, okay, I appreciated it. You're trying to stay clean, and I get that. I haven't really gone to those lengths, but I do appreciate that. Years ago, I switched to Purell bottles to hand wipes for two. Okay, so anyway, I think he just kind of, he's just saying wipe away. But the reason I did bring this up is this next article says why you shouldn't use Clorox or Lysol wipes to disinfect your phone and laptop. So this is from Android Central that says there's a right and a wrong way to clean your phone. We use and rely on our smartphones every single day. And with so much regular use, it's only natural for them to get dirty. Knowing that it's a good idea to clean/disinfect your phone is a great start, but it's only half the battle. There's a right and wrong way to clean your phone, and if you do it the wrong way, you stand to seriously damage it. Nobody wants that, and thankfully, it's pretty easy to avoid doing so. So it kind of goes against saying, use a Clorox wipe. But it says here, for many of us, the first thing that comes to mind when we think of cleaning is Clorox/Lysol wipes. These are great for disinfecting your home, but you should keep them as far away as possible from your phone. So it says here why your phone has something on its screen called an oleophobic coating, which is why I typically stay away from it. The purpose of which is to help prevent fingerprints from completely smudging up the glass. It's natural for it to slowly wear off over time, but something like a Clorox wipe will eat away at it in no time at all. If your phone is a few years old and the coating has likely already diminished, you can whip out a Clorox wipe and use that if it's the only thing you have. Some disinfectant wipes are okay, but you need to make sure they have a mix of 70% isopropyl alcohol. So just keep that in mind. I'm not really going to go through this whole thing. And well, there's not much in here. So it's an affordable and readily available solution that you can freely use to keep your phone clean without totally wrecking the oleophobic coating. Mix the alcohol in a 1-to-1 ratio with distilled water, put in a spray bottle, and spray a microfiber cloth with your creation. So George says here, I agree with you. We can't be sure how the cleaning agents are affecting the oleophobic coating. Right. That's how I feel about it. So let's leave it at that. Let's move on. I just thought it was interesting. So this article from Lifehacker says switch from Google Authenticator to a more secure 2FA app. I don't know how many of you guys use two-factor authentication. For a long time, I used my cell phone, right? My phone number where they text you just to make sure it's you, to verify signing into like Gmail from an outside source, like using a different laptop or whatever. And I used to use that. And then I stopped using it because I found out that could be hacked. And then I saw this article because I started, instead of using a phone number, I started using this app, this Google Authenticator app. And now it's saying maybe it's not as secure, which is a little unfortunate because now I have to switch again, maybe. But I haven't read this article, so I want to see what it's about. According to a report from Nightwatch Cybersecurity, Google's Authenticator app for Android comes with an unfixed issue that can create a big security nightmare if you have any malware or otherwise shifty apps installed on your device. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. The Microsoft Authenticator app for Android also shares the same issue, so don't switch to that app either for now. I didn't know this. Both apps, as of when we wrote this article, don't use Android's flag_secure setting, which prohibits other apps and you from taking screenshots. Okay, don't believe me? Pull up Google Authenticator on Android and take a screenshot by holding. Okay. Try that on an app likely Authy. I've never heard of that. And you can hold the buttons for as long as you want. While Google will surely fix this issue at some point, Authy is a much better app for managing your 2FA codes. I don't know if any of you guys use Authy. I'll have to take a look at it. Not only can you secure the app with extra verification steps, so someone fussing with your unlocked device can't access your codes without your input, but deploying the app on multiple devices is easy. Once you've installed the app on a new device and verified that you're you, all of your 2FA codes synced on your primary device will automatically appear on your new one. Oh, that's interesting. The one thing that I've had an issue with Google's Authenticator is I only can use one device to log in. So if I'm not carrying my iPhone and I just have like my Pixel 4 or something and I need to log in from an untrusted device or whatever, I can't use it because I have to have my other phone to use for Authenticator. Cool. I'll have to take a look at that. If you don't want to use Authy for whatever reason, then you should at least test to see whether your Authenticator app allows you to take screenshots or not. If yes, consider something else. If no, it's probably safer to use. Cool. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, moving on. RCS. This is actually something that I've had some interest in. I don't know why sorry guys, I don't know, my mic stand, I might need to get a new stand or get one of those like table mounted mic stands, because this is being really weird. Hey Adam Geekheim, howdy y'all. Hey Adam, welcome to the stream. Good morning, how's it going? Thanks for making it. Hopefully you're not working and you won't get in trouble, but thank you for making the chat or the stream. thanks for hopping in. Okay, so I have this article from Android Guys. It's an opinion piece and I want to go over it. And it says here, RCS doesn't matter until iMessage has it. And strangely enough, without even reading this article yet, I'm probably going to agree. I have RCS, and the only reason I have RCS is because Will, someone who I'm a friend with on Friday Night Tech Talk, he's the one that kind of had me try RCS. And RCS is similar to how iMessage works, but I only use it to test it, and I never use it because nobody else uses it. And so this opinion piece says, okay, that's an admittedly clickbait title, but hear me out. Yeah, it might be clickbait, but I agree. Yes, I know that RCS with Google's Android messages and Samsung's offerings as well is a big deal. However, I'd like to take a moment and just talk to the fact that it's still a far cry from an empowered solution to messaging for me on Android. I don't know how you guys message, but I don't use iMessage. I mean, I have it, right? And I'll use it if someone messages me on it. I have RCS now, and I only know one or two people who use it, and I don't use any of that. I use Telegram. I think it's a great way to send messages, send files. It's a great messaging app that gets updated regularly. I used to use Hangouts just solely, but I've moved away from that because they don't support it, and there's just so much stuff that they could have done that they don't do because there's no support for it anymore. Anyway, let me move on. Honestly, it's no real revelation for most users, or at least that's how I see it. From my viewpoint, I'm still hindered by it only working with Android users. That's the problem with RCS, is people with iMessage or iPhones, they don't use RCS, so you don't get the benefits of using RCS if Apple isn't going to integrate it, and I don't think they will because they have iMessage and they don't. Why are they going to abandon what they've created? At least that's how I feel about it for RCS. So yeah, from my viewpoint, I'm still hindered by it. Okay, this essentially makes it a competitor to WhatsApp or Telegram. And that is the root of my issue and why I don't view RCS as a huge improvement to my day-to-day conversations. I've already moved to other platforms that offer me the same or better instant messaging services. RCS hasn't changed the way I use established apps I already have on my Pixel 4 XL. I've been enjoying a rich messaging experience with my friends for years, and we've adapted to using those IM apps like WhatsApp and Telegram for the appropriate use cases, like me included. If I use messages, it's always been in the form of SMS with other people. Yeah, again, I use a lot of devices and I switch from device to device. And if I'm tied to something like iMessage where I can only use my iPhone or just my phone number for SMS, like that's a no-go for me because I don't want to be tied to just one phone number. Like I want to move from device to device and be able to chat without having to use a specific number or a specific messaging app tied to a phone number. It just doesn't work for me. For a lot of people, I guess it doesn't matter because most people stick with their stuff for a while. And if you're on Apple and you use iMessage, you're probably just going to use that forever unless iMessage ever integrates RCS, and I don't think they will. Which brings me to iMessage and why RCS won't matter until Apple decides to adopt it as a fallback option like it currently does with SMS. I'd love to see tangible numbers, but I bet most Android users that are still using traditional text messages are doing so due to friends and family that have chosen iOS as their mobile platform. Yeah. I'm not going to go through this whole article. Oh, it's almost done, but yeah, it's hard to see how people are going to just switch over. There's so many out there now, and I can't even get people who I initially got them to switch over to Hangouts years ago. They won't switch. They're going to use Hangouts because they've been using it for so long, and they don't care that it doesn't get updated. They don't care that you can't use dark mode or you can't reply to certain messages in group mess. I don't know. They're stuck with it, and I can't even get them to make the changeover. This leaves you with trying to convince all the people that you have in your communication circle to download a new app just to IM with Android messages. I mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. That will most likely not be a successful request. The argument comes full circle, and everyone will just keep messaging you on the app they already have installed, they're familiar with, and that's exactly what's happening. I'm glad RCS exists and really hope it finds a way to be a true successor to SMS. It's superior in every way, but I just don't think it matters until Apple works it into iMessage somehow. It's sad, but it's my current reality, and I couldn't agree more. All right. Let me see here. I are good. I'm glad, Adam. I'm working, but we can have YouTube on in the background. Oh, yeah, there you go. Let's see. George said, same here. I used RCS due to Will's urging, but stopped since no one else was using it. Yeah. I mean, RCS is cool, right? It has cool features, but no one's using it. No one's using it. And until that happens, and if it will ever happen, I don't really see myself using it unless someone's going to try to force me to. But yeah, 6 says Telegram and WhatsApp for me. Yeah, I don't even use WhatsApp. I know everyone loves WhatsApp, but I do really enjoy Telegram. 6 says I have friends with iPhones and they don't even use iMessage. Yeah, I mean, I have friends with iPhones and they all use iMessage, at least that I know of. But I have an iPhone and I like to use Telegram. I find it a lot better. George says, I use Telegram once in a while, as you guys know. I know you're never in our chats, George. You'll hop in every so often, but that's it. Facebook Messenger with friends that use that also. And yeah, I keep forgetting. A lot of people use Facebook Messenger, and I haven't touched that. I've used it maybe here and there, but I don't have it installed on my phone, and I don't really care for it because I don't really care for Facebook. But yeah, so Six says, so I find it kind of weird when one of the reasons people say they can't get out of iPhones is iMessage. I mean, I hear you. Adam says, but didn't you have to jump through all kind of hoops for Telegram? What do you mean? I installed it, set it up, and I think I was good. I don't think I had issues with it. Unless you're talking about something else, I'm not sure. George says, I agree, Six, but I think that's just ignorance of other options. I mean, that's a big thing. You get on a phone, you use the self-installed apps, especially for a lot of people who aren't phone savvy or tech savvy, or they just want to use what's there, and then they're stuck with it, right? Not saying that iMessage is bad at all, because it works pretty well. I'm just saying it's there, and it's like, I'm going to use it. It's installed. It works well. Why am I going to switch? Adam says, that's why I don't use it. When I switch phones, it wanted me to verify the new number each time. It did, but I can use Telegram on multiple devices, and that's what I do now. I think once you do that one time, then you're fine. You can use it wherever, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Six says, not really, Adam. I just put my number. Yeah. And so once you get that number and you verify, you're good. Telegram has a lot of good functions in it. There are some things that I want them to update, and that's actually something I've been planning to make a video on, and I've been really bad lately about making like my higher production quality videos, and I need to get back on that. It's just I have so much going on lately. Six says, but again, I understand people using their stock Apple apps. Yeah, I mean, use case scenario, it just depends on the person, depends on like if somebody wants to, I guess, go through those hoops, is downloading a new app. Anyway, let's move on here. Yeah, I don't know how this article came to me. This is from investors.com, which is something I don't ever go to, but it says here, Apple iPhone sales in China at quote doomsday level amid coronavirus outbreak. I think Apple's going to be fine, guys. But maybe this article is something else. A Wall Street analyst on Monday called the severe drop in Apple iPhone sales in China during the coronavirus outbreak unprecedented and unwelcome news for Apple stock. Again, I don't really care about stock. Like, I don't know. These guys make a ton of money from us, and we just end up paying overpriced for phones and other products, and I don't really care. But I'm just interested what it had to say. The Chinese Academy of Information and Communications Technology released data showing roughly 500,000 Apple iPhone shipments in the country in February. That's down from 1.27 million units shipped in China in the same month last year. Okay, so less sales. How long will this impact Apple iPhone sales? The big question is how long the disruption, that's a pretty shitty way of saying it, from the COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak will last. I mean, this is a serious health issue here. Disruption, please. Now, all eyes of the street are around normalizing the supply chain by late April, early May, and trying to better understand the demand trajectory in China over the coming quarters. I'm not going to go through this stuff. Like, this is a more like money piece, and I don't really care. So anyway, George says, I mostly use Telegram on my computer. One reason that I like it. One reason that I am using Telegram is it's for its web use. That was one of the big reasons I had a hard time moving away from Hangouts, because I use Hangouts on my PC all the time, or my laptop all the time. So Telegram gives me that ability. It even has a desktop app, which makes it even better. Okay, so I have this article here from Android Police that says the Pixel 3 and 4 USB transfer speeds dwarfed by the competition in recent tests. Roughly half as fast as some other recent phones in Android authorities' tests. This isn't something I typically test, but it's also kind of sad to see that when it comes to speed testing for, I guess, file transfer speeds, like I wouldn't, I'd expect better speeds from Android here. So, or the Pixel line. According to a recent set of benchmarks conducted by the folks at Android Authority, Google's latest Pixels suffer a bit of a problem with file transfer speed over USB Type-C. Although Google builds the port as supporting USB 3.0 transfer speeds, something about the phone's configuration results in nearly half the speed compared to other recent phones like the OnePlus 7T Pro and Galaxy S10e. Android Authority ran tests on 8 devices in total, and although the 2016 Pixel and Pixel 2 fared well enough, Google's Pixel 3 and Pixel 4 took twice as long to copy a 10.8 gig file compared to several other phones. Why is that? Precise speeds weren't measured. Devices tested were limited to what they had on hand, and we don't know how many times they measured the results. Okay, so maybe it was a little inconsistent or not as accurate, but the differences seem clear. Compared to the Mate 30 Pro, OnePlus 7T Pro, Galaxy S10e, and Honor View 20, Google's last couple of Pixel flagships take much longer, over twice as long. Why? In some cases, transfer files. The Pixel 4, for example, required 125 seconds for a computer to copy a 10.8 gig file, and took 84 seconds for the same file to be read back in testing. The 7T Pro, for comparison, managed 77 and 40. Yeah, why? The older Pixel 2 fared much better at 55 each way. The storage type used by recent Pixels aren't making a difference, likely isn't making a difference. Although Google contentiously chose older and slower UFS 2.1 storage for the Pixel 4. On the whole, these differences might not be the end of the world. I mean, they're not the end of the world, but it's just unfortunate to see. And they don't affect everyone, but they are certainly inconvenient if you're among those that regularly transfer files using your computer. I mean, I do. I don't do a ton, but I do. If that's you, I should point out that Wi-Fi is often much faster. That's also really interesting. Still, it's another tiny way that Google drops the ball when it comes to its pixels, and there are already more than a few, which I cannot disagree with. I agree on that. And then, of course, like I'm like in the corner of my eye, I see chat going, and I'm like, it's probably Will. It's probably Will. He's about to jump for joy because there's more issues with the Pixel here. Let's see. Yeah, Will LMAO. Because it's Google. We think Zoom is more fun. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So this is from Android Community, and it's titled "More Huawei P40 Pro Details Revealed. Image shows new cam module." The new Huawei P40 series is launching very soon. I don't know if there's anybody who is waiting for a new Huawei device. Not that Huawei makes bad devices, it's just the issue with their software and the support that Google is no longer giving it. We're only waiting for D-Day to come. Expect more speculations, rumors, and leaks will be revealed in the coming days and weeks. Blah, blah, blah. The Huawei P40 Pro may also come with a 4 curved hole design, better cameras, and dual selfie shooters. The Huawei P40 will arrive in different variants, a regular one, Pro, and Lite. The Huawei P40 Lite already launched in Europe, but is actually just a rehashed Huawei Nova 6 SE. A Huawei P40 phone was sighted in the wild last week and over the weekend. Okay, anyway, the cameras will be joined by an LED light and a color temperature sensor. An LED light? I want a phone with an LED light again. We see 2 selfie cameras, so the dual selfie info can be confirmed. The camera module is rectangular, obviously, to house all those sensors. It protrudes a bit, but doesn't look bothersome. The phone we see here is set in some kind of pearly white. The bezels appear to be reduced. A volume rocker and power button are placed on the right side of the device. Let's wait and see. So this is it. Looks great. I don't know much about it. I think high-end specs. But again, the issue with Android and Google not being able to integrate with it it kind of makes it a no-go for me. Yeah, so I don't know. Okay. I left the barber right on time. Yeah, it seems like as soon as I talk about the Pixel, like you're quick to jump on that, Will. All right, moving on. So I have this article from Green Car Reports. Again, I don't know how I sometimes fall into these articles, but when I do, I will mark them. So the Honda Clarity Electric has run out of range, won't return for 2020. I thought this article was more about how the electric cars aren't coming to the US for Honda, which I don't really understand because that should be a thing that's going on now. Should be a trend. And but I don't know. With the confirmed discontinuation of the Clarity Electric for 2020, Honda no longer has a single battery electric model in its US lineup. American Honda Motor confirmed to Green Car Reports last week that the Clarity Electric was discontinued at the end of the 2019 model year and won't be coming back. In what was a very quiet last hurrah, leases for the model, blah, blah, blah. So it was only limited to California and Oregon. So Oregon. I don't even remember seeing this car at all when I lived in California. Apparently, I'm not supposed to call it Cali. Faded out at the start of the year, and then in February, while we awaited what sounded like a refresh model in the pipeline. At least one forum pointed to indications within Honda that the model wouldn't be returning. Have you guys ever seen the Honda, the new, the reason I bring this up is Honda made an electric car called the Honda E, I think, and they're not selling it in the States. They're only selling it in, like the UK. So here, real quick, these are pictures of it. Like I would totally drive one of these. I think it's like a great city car. Like it might look whatever, like quirky, but I like quirky. I totally drive one of these. And this is an all electric car. And why is this not here in the States? I don't know. It's the only reason I brought it up because thought it was a cool car. Now I lost my place. Here we are. So that's really about it. I just don't know why. I don't know if it's the US saying no fossil fuels, oil. Like I don't know if it's because lobbyists or whatever. I have no idea. I mean, Tesla's doing well here, so I assume that other companies would start offering electric cars like that Honda E. Like I would totally drive that in the city. That's a perfect city car. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So I found this article from Ars Technica. Sonos decides breaking old stuff isn't a winning move after all. I found this article interesting because I was one of the first proponents of Sonos. First supporters, first testers. I had a bunch of Sonos products. I had the whole slew of products. The only reason I don't have them anymore is because I moved to California and I was just trying to sell my stuff. But also my mic is dropping again. Okay. So, God, I got to fix my mic stand. Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw that Sonos was not going to update their first generation Sonos devices. And I think they got a lot of shit for it. And so I saw this article and I'm like, oh, let's see what happened here. So it says here, because what Sonos did is like, hey, we're not going to support it. We're not going to push new updates to it. And I really couldn't understand why. Like, why couldn't you push updates to an older device? Like, I don't think the hardware in it was great sound quality. I mean, if you think about it, back in the day when people used speakers or receivers or whatever, it would last forever. They you make good quality products. So, okay. So it says here, software support for the products is ending, but you can still pass them along. Secondhand shoppers rejoice. Sonos is reversing course on a plan to brick all trade-in devices. So if someone wants to give or sell you a used speaker, it will still work for now. Sonos launched its trade-up program last October. Consumers who owned a handful of older devices would receive a 30% discount on newer models. I just don't like how they're forcing you to buy something new, especially when it's still working fine. If they traded in their old versions, a fairly typical program for expensive electronics, all things considered. The company drew customers' ire with one important deviation from others trade-in programs. Sorry guys, I've been talking for a while. Although the company does indeed sell refurbished equipment, devices users traded in through the program were destined not to become part of that cycle. Instead, Sonos straight up bricked them. So wait, what is okay? Completing the trade-in process required putting your device in recycle mode, which not only wipes all of the user's personal data, but also permanently deactivates the product. In recent days, however, Sonos quietly removed the recycle mode option from its app, replacing it with a prompt to call customer service. Additionally, the company now says it's working on posting a new trade-in flow to its website, which will remove recycle mode from the process. Okay, so they're still ending it. It says Sonos will be ending software updates for certain legacy product lines in May, including Zone Players Connect and Connect Amp. First generation Play 5, blah, blah, blah. Amid significant blowback, the company reiterated that existing devices and service will not stop working at that time, and it confirmed that it will provide bug fixes and security patches for as long as possible after the May deadline. Eventually, however, the products will stop covering or connecting to newer phones, other devices. That still kind of sucks. So it's not like they're completely fixing what's happening here. They're kind of extending support. They're saying, no, we're not going to get rid of it, but we still want you to trade it in. We still want you to buy our newer things instead. It kind of sucks. I don't have any of my Sonos products anymore. I'm a big supporter of Sonos. I think they make good products. I thought it's a big revelation in technology. And then Google and Amazon kind of stepped in, and they have, Google has their speaker products that are like way cheaper, and you can kind of multi-connect them with a lot of things. So anyway, that's just, yeah. So let me see here. I'll go through chat real quick. Sorry guys, not sorry, but I want to talk with my community here. Nightfly, hey, welcome to the chat, man. Welcome to the stream is what I meant to say. I appreciate you coming. Nightfly, gas is cheap and purchasing trends have favored SUVs for the past few years. Yeah, I just feel like we need to move past fossil fuels. That's how I feel about it. Let's see. George says, I've never heard of it. The Honda E. Yeah, I don't know. I really like that. I really like that car. Tesla is more of a luxury brand. You're right. I mean, I don't have money to buy one, so I get you. Mike, simply your device. Guys, this is Mike. I stream with him on Sunday mornings, every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern. We co-host a show called The Standard. Mike says, hey, everyone, I'll try to hang as long as I can. Hey, Mike, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you making it. Adam says, oil is crashing price-wise. They'll be doing mega SUVs again all the time soon. I don't want to see that. So you buy the new one. Yes, you end up buying the new Sonos device, which I would rather, support your legacy products, man, especially let people know that they last a long time. One of the reasons that people buy stuff is because it lasts a long time. And for a company like Sonos to end a good device for no reason other than it just being old, I mean, I'm sure they have the reasons, or they can say why they have the reasons, but I don't completely agree. I don't really know if that's why they're doing it. So I don't know. George says, Nightfly is right. I'll be getting a 2018 SUV in the next few months. With Rita getting a new one, SUVs are popular and practical. Are SUVs practical? Are they more practical than a hatchback or something where you can fold the seats down and put shit in it? I mean, most of the time, 90% of the time, I see people driving by themselves in cars. I don't know. Again, I live in Chicago, so it might be different. Brian, Mike, what's going on? Working while streaming. Don't tell the boss. Okay, let's move on, guys. I have 3 more articles here. So new X6 review. You can get a lot of phone for less than $100 in 2020. I have never owned a new device. I don't know if any of you guys have ever owned a new device. I don't even know if there's a parent company for new, or are they a completely separate company. But less than $100 for a phone. And I don't know if I'm going crazy. I just feel like my microphone keeps dropping, and I keep raising my microphone stand. Like, it's so high right now. If I could show you guys, it looks stupid. I don't. Sorry. I'm bitching because, like, you see how high I'm reaching to get to this thing is just dropping. Maybe I just need to adjust. Sorry. I'm doing this live. Excuse me, guys. I'm live. Okay, better. Hopefully better. Let's start over. New X6 review. You can get a lot of phone for less than $100 in 2020. Again, I've never used New. I don't know if they have a parent company or not. If you guys know if they do, please let me know. It might say in this article that I have not read yet, but for less than $100 for a phone, especially me lately who has been bitching about phone prices, especially paying $1,400 for a phone or paying $1,000 for a phone. It's a lot of money. I've been wanting to see if there are better phones for less money, and there are better phones for less money, and that's kind of the direction I'm going towards. So this article from talkandroid.com. New is a smaller brand that's responsible for some pretty decent unlocked phones. We reviewed the new G3 a few years ago and found a few issues with the device, but overall it was a pretty great phone for the price tag at the time. They followed things up with the new X6, which looks to bring the company's smartphone design forward a few years. You're looking at a hole punch display, fingerprint scanner, and Android 9, but most importantly, you're getting a $90 price tag. That's super cheap for a phone. So let's see here. Yes, it's made of plastic. The bezels are definitely there, but it's got a good amount of weight to it with a fairly balanced distribution, so it feels good in hand. The back comes off the new X6, which is a rarity these days. Oh, it has a removable back. You get full access to the phone's battery and dual SIM card with micro SD card slots. That's pretty cool. The bottom houses 2 speakers and a micro USB. I know it's $90, so but micro USB, like, make this Type C. Has a headphone jack, great. Power button and volume buttons are on the right side. It's good. It's not great, but this is still probably the best $90 phone design you're gonna get. So it's powered by a MediaTek Helio A22. I have no idea how these MediaTek ones work. I should really get my hands on one and just try it out. Has 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, and a 13 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel front camera, and it has a fingerprint sensor, 2800 milliamp hour battery. I mean, it's not bad for $90. Until I try it, maybe. Why is this saying 99? Well, maybe there's just a different place to get it for 90. Surely the performance is going to be mediocre. So that is my big concern, right? $90 phone, I just assume it's going to perform like shit. But so he's saying here, or whoever wrote this article, this ended up being pretty surprising. The new X6 uses a MediaTek Helio A22, which is a quad-core A53 processor running at 2 gigs. It's nothing to write home about, but you know what? It's not bad. I could very easily browse the web while listening to music in the background, and hopping over to other apps to check notifications, emails, texts, whatever, really didn't slow down the phone at all. Now I'm wondering about the software on this. The phone software and 3 gigs of RAM tends to be the bottleneck in keeping apps open. I'm not really too worried about that. I'm more worried about, am I just able to use my app properly without having to, wait for it to do what it needs to do. I don't care if it closes the app later on, especially with a $90 phone. I just want the app that I'm using to work now. The screen is also surprisingly great. That's good to hear. Unfortunately, it's paired with some very middling tinny speakers. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal to me now too, especially because, I'm used to having really good audio on phones, and my iPhone 11 Pro, my Pixel 4, great audio on them. Listening to music on it just wasn't pleasant, and it can really crush the ambiance out of video games and movies. The phone has a headphone jack and you're going to want to use it. Okay, so fair enough. Battery life is actually pretty good. Here's what I want to read about. Software. There's not much to talk about the software. It's all pretty vanilla Android. That's a good thing, with just a few additions, like a DuraSpeed option in settings that allows you to prevent apps from going to sleep in the background. New tries to be pretty aggressive with apps to make do with the limited hardware, so you'll find it pretty frequently killing apps if you don't specify it here. It's good in that it'll keep apps from draining your battery, but you'll need to exclude your music apps and such in this part of the phone, or it'll stop playback just trying to keep resources free. Okay. I don't think the camera is going to be that great, but these look pretty okay. The new G3 struggled with its camera. The new X6 doesn't hold up any better. I mean, again, right? Like, I'm not going to expect much for a $90 phone. I don't think the camera is going to be perfect, but like, I'm sure for people, it's going to be for people who are reaching this price point. Don't expect much, but I'm sure it's still going to be serviceable. Worth it going into this review. I honestly had pretty low expectations. That's kind of how I feel. But considering the cheap price point of the new X6, but after using it, I can say that I was pleasantly surprised in a lot of ways. Performance is good and better than the new G3s from a few years ago. Battery life was decent, albeit with that slow charging. If all you want to if all you want is to watch YouTube or Netflix, browse the web, and maybe play a game or two every once in a while, this is actually a really good phone, and it's going to cost you less than $100 to pick one up. The camera's still below average, and there are some weird things that hold the phone back, but at the price tag that new is asking, they're all pretty easy to overlook. I just want to see if this is still showing up at that price. Yeah, $90. Not bad. Maybe I'll pick it up just to test it out. I don't know. Also, I don't know if I have $90 right now because I'm broke. So, interesting. Okay. Chat. Nightfly, I'm not here to judge. Yeah, no, I didn't think you were. To me, it just says how far away from having a majority of cars on the road being EVs. I agree. When things are cheap, fuel, energy, food, it's human nature to use a lot of it. You're right. You're absolutely right. Completely agree. Good point. Mike says my 99 Sentra, 30 miles per gallon. Not even going to buy new. Keep on getting hoopties. I'm cheap too, Mike. I have a Nissan also, and I got 30 miles to the gallon, and I bought it because I bought a brand new car, a 2019, and I bought that car brand new for $10,995, like super cheap. It has manual windows and manual door locks, and it's a stick shift, and I love it because it's no frills. It was in the $10,000 range for a new car, and it still came with Bluetooth, right? So I could connect my phone to it, and it had a rear camera, touchscreen. I was like, man, that's pretty good for that price. Although I don't think I'm going to keep it long because now that I'm back in Chicago, I use public everywhere. So right now it's a luxury for me. George, what SUV? New X6, Jerome's next review device. Maybe it will be. Maybe. Daniel, hey, Daniel, welcome to the stream, man. Daniel says a removable battery. I thought they weren't allowed to do that anymore. Yeah, you would think so, right? But maybe these guys are going to do something different. Maybe that's why their phone is also $90. It's funny how a $90 phone has a removable battery, but a $1,000 phone does not. Like, yeah, no, this $1,000 phone, everything's soldered in. Like, you want to change the battery because your battery's dying, just buy a new phone. These are first world problems here. No, it's nice to see a phone with a removable battery. And actually, Mike might be right. Maybe it is my next review device. We'll see. Probably has ads on the launcher. Oh, that would suck. I don't want that. George says, I stay away from MediaTek processors, but that's based on them from a few years ago. I'm thinking they've gotten a lot better and should probably try a phone with one soon. Yeah, I really should. I should try one too. I've never used a phone with a MediaTek processor. I don't even know where they are in the space of phones. Are they just in the budget space of phones? Do they make a high-end MediaTek processor? I don't know. Mike says super chat fund. New X6, maybe. My 2003 Cavalier that I drive to work also had manual windows. I thought I was the only one left. No. And you know what's actually funny is, so for 2019, Nissan said that 2019 was going to be the last year they have manual windows and manual door locks. Manual door locks are kind of a pain, but it reminds me of my younger days, and like those were the only car I drove, a bunch of 90s cars, and I loved it. And I like having manual stuff because it's less things to fix. But yeah, I can't complain. And I only drive stick shift. That's really the only way I drive. And yeah, I was looking for a car that was cheap, had stick shift, and that one kind of met all the requirements. So okay, moving on. The next article here is from Android Community. OnePlus 8 5G may soon be arriving for Verizon customers. I haven't heard anything about this yet lately. With the OnePlus 8. While it's been rumored that Verizon will finally be carrying OnePlus devices in their stores, but we've never really had proof that it'll happen. Well, now, if you believe the code found in a new updated, why is this article? I feel like the wording is weird. We might be getting that with the launch of the OnePlus 8 5. I'm just putting words in there. For Verizon, OnePlus 8 5G for Verizon. Aside from that, they also spotted new upcoming features like an NFC activated wallpaper plus AMOLED displays for future smartphones they'll be releasing. The folks over at XDA Developers were analyzing the OnePlus launcher's latest update, and they were able to discover some interesting things. For one, there were several references to something that they assume will be the Verizon variant of a OnePlus device. Okay. The latter, of course, yeah. So they found something in the code that says OnePlus 8 VZW, which stands for Verizon. Another thing that they were able to decode, so to speak, is a possible future feature called NFC activated wallpapers. There aren't any details yet about this, but it's probably a quick way to change your phone's wallpapers when you enter a certain area. It's cool, I guess. My wallpaper is black. I keep a completely black wallpaper to save battery, and I don't really, yeah, that's me. It'll most likely be available for OnePlus 8 smartphone series only as a promotional gimmick, although there's really no hardware or software deterrent to have this on other older OnePlus devices. Another thing that may have discovered is that future OnePlus devices will have an AMOLED display. The shelf section in the launcher refers to something called an AMOLED black theme. This doesn't seem to be really surprising, as it's the direction the Chinese OEM is heading to. They were able to see a hide icon labels option in the launcher. It's not groundbreaking, but could be useful. This isn't the most exciting article. Might even be a fluff article here, but OnePlus 8 for Verizon. It's cool to see OnePlus 8 coming to other carriers. Again, I'm somebody who doesn't buy phones at through the carrier. I buy phones unlocked. I feel like it's really the only way to buy a phone, especially if you don't want shit on your phone, them adding bloatware or whatever. And knowing Verizon, that's probably what they're going to do. Still cool to see. This article wasn't that interesting. So, yeah. Let's see. Thierry, am I saying that right? Theory X84. Check the MediaTek rootkit exploit on XDA. Yeah, I'll have to give it a shot. There's a lot of things that I've been wanting to do with phones lately, and it's been hard to find time. There's just been a lot going on. I would still stay clear from MediaTek in 20. Can you expand on that? Is there a reason that we'd need to stay clear? Even this $90 phone from this X6, like, stay clear from that too? $90? I don't know. Let me know. Will. LOL, NFC activated wallpaper. Will, you need to calm down. You keep shitting on Android at any given moment, but you're right. It's a very gimmicky feature. It's just Will is so quick to shit on Android and praise Apple, which I don't know. I guess it's hard not to. I can understand why he feels that way. Okay. Moving on, last article that I have. Oh, okay. It's an Apple one. This is from The Verge. The latest iOS 14 leaks include new fitness app, expanded pencil support, and more. Yesterday, 9 to 5 Mac posted details of several new features it found in supposed unreleased iOS 14 code, and now Mac Rumors is adding to the deluge of leaks in a series of posts. It's not clear that every one of these features pertains to iOS 14 specifically, but they do all sound like the sort of thing that could accompany a major software upgrade from Apple. First up is a new fitness app codenamed Seymour, and possibly to be called Fit or Fitness in its shipping form. So Apple Fit, Google Fit, but what about Apple Health? It's said to be a standalone app targeting iOS 14, watchOS 7, and tvOS 14 rather than a replacement for the current activity app.